Thank you, President Kaomi. And to the Board of Trustees, the faculty, all the parents, grandparents, friends who are here today. And most of all, to you, the class of 2012. Thank you for letting me share this amazing day with all of you. I am so honored to be here to celebrate with you and to share some lessons that I've learned since my own graduation 34 years ago. But first, I'd like to take a moment and congratulate you on your achievement. It is a real milestone to graduate from college, and I hope you enjoy your time here and that the memories you have will be the ones you look back on fondly for years to come. What you've done here is memorable and a remarkable achievement. And I understand this is one of the largest graduating class in the history of this university. Over 8,000 students. So most of you started your studies just as the economic bubble began to burst, and the job market was changing. And it was possible that you would have to change your plans. You persevered through, despite any anxiety you might have felt about the uncertainty and change happening in the world around you. If the history of San Jose State, and of this class in particular, is any indication, you are ready for what lies ahead. People working at the university have already begun tracking your record in the job market, and in the words of the advancement office, it's impressive. It seems to me that you already know one of the most important lessons you've ever learned. It's lesson number 1, don't give up, persevere. It wasn't until I was out of college that I learned this lesson in a way that I wouldn't forget. When I graduated in 1978, I wanted to get into retail, so I went to work for Mervyn's, and I was in the executive training program. Things didn't start out so well for me. I was having a hard time as the manager of the ceremony linens department. My team, all women older than I was, spent a lot more time talking and socializing than they did working. The store director pulled me aside one day and told me that I was never going to make it in this business because I was such a pushover and that I let everybody walk all over me. So think about it. I've only been in the business, my chosen career, for a few months, and already someone was saying that I wasn't going to make it. So I decided I wasn't going to let things go down that way. So the next day, I pulled my team together and told them exactly what had to change. I said, I need you to do your work and not just chat. Because if you don't, you'll probably end up with a new manager who is not going to be as nice as I am. And I did offer to schedule the breaks together to make it a little easier. But what I did actually worked out well. I kept my job, and I learned about managing people, about being honest and direct, and about setting clear expectations. I also learned how important it was to keep going, to persevere, especially in the face of challenges. So I've got a story for you that will lead to the next lesson. And it starts with your supporters in the audience today. The mothers, fathers, grandparents, siblings, friends, and other important people who have seen you through to your graduation and celebrate with you today. I think they all deserve a hand, don't you? So I'd like to thank my family and friends who are here with me today. In fact, many of them are friends I've made here as roommates at San Jose State. It's a wonderful thing to share college experiences and make friends with people who turn out to be your lifelong friends. Treasure those friendships and hold on to them. They can provide an incredible source of support for you after you leave here. I hope that all of you have had the chance to build relationships that will last your lifetime as I had the chance to do here. So my own parents moved to the US from China so that they could put me and my brothers and sisters through college. They knew that this country offered huge opportunity through education. And I believe all of you appreciate the value of an American education. Whether you come to the United States recently or have been here for generations, you know what a privilege it is. And I'm inspired by the many ways each of you has taken advantage of the opportunities available here. And I've seen that your class of 2012 represent many ages, backgrounds, and ethnic groups. And I've learned that you earn degrees in a wide range of disciplines, from animation to urban planning. More than half of you now hold multiple degrees, and that's just a start. And I can't help but notice the diversity of these facts. Every one of you is just a little bit different from everyone else. So now, lesson number 2, which is based on my own heritage and experience. Being different, being diverse, is a real advantage, not a disadvantage. Being different is something I've experienced ever since I moved here when I was 9 years old. And I didn't speak any English when I arrived. Living in Chinatown in San Francisco, and some things were familiar and others were very different. And I had to adjust to being in a new country and eventually find my own way. So by the late 1970s, I find myself in your shoes at San Jose State as a student. And most of us follow a very predictable path. Study something practical, graduate, and then get a job. And since it was the 70s, I majored in home economics because I thought that home ec was the only field open to me. I was going to graduate and become a home ec teacher. Then in my junior year, the state decided not to teach home ec in the classroom anymore and stopped funding my program. So my plans had to change. My boyfriend Mitchell, who now is my husband, suggested that I take some business classes. So I started studying marketing and everything else that I thought sounded creative. So along with my fashion merchandising classes, in those first business classes, I was not sure how everything would end up. And I feel lucky that I took the plunge into something different. I wasn't going to end up where I thought I would, but what I ended up doing was so much better. So today, when I'm in the United States, people say I'm more Chinese. In fact, especially in my business life, I find that being a woman and being Chinese has really helped me. People remember me more often because of that fact. And when I go back to China, people say I'm more American. They notice that I'm different. And I found that being part of 2 places at once gives me a perspective that others don't have. And the same goes for you. Whatever your differences may be, embrace your diversity and take full advantage of it.